Hey guys, it's Chelsea. Welcome to my TOK English exhibition like video. Yeah. So my prompt is are some types of knowledge more useful than others? In today's world, we prioritize certain types of knowledge over others, usually based on individual values. And this essay explores whether some knowledge is more useful than others, defining useful specifically as practical application in daily life. And okay, this is my first object. It is a anatomical diagram from my biology book I used to study and learn about the human body. And I chose this because it represents scientific knowledge that has direct practical application in my life as a biology student wanting to pursue a medical related career. And personally, my understanding of human intellectual structures is fundamental to my academic success. That's why anatomical knowledge has clear utility as it forms the foundation of my intended profession. However, the same knowledge may hold significantly less practical value for my friends who are pursuing other careers, such as literature or business. This demonstrates how knowledge utility isn't universal, but depends on individual circumstances and goals. Now, the second object that I chose is a screenshot of a group chat family that I have. You can't really see it, but it's a group chat that's literally been present before I was even born. So like all my grandpas, my aunts, my cousins, like from my dad's side specifically, are all in there. Like it literally existed before I was even born. So like big group chat, and in this group chat, it's like most of them are my Indonesian family, so they kind of speak Indonesian in there. So how this linked to the prompt is that text our messages in Indonesian, and I chose this because it represents linguistic knowledge that has significant practical utility in my personal context. Growing up in Indonesia, speaking English with my parents and Indonesian with my grandparents while learning Chinese at school. So Indonesian language proficiency is essential for my daily communication, and it allows me to navigate in my home environment and connect with my family. My multilingual background demonstrates how the practical value of language knowledge is deeply tied to my personal circumstances and community connections. So, however, for someone living in other countries with little to no connections to Indonesia, the same linguistic knowledge that I have might have less utility and be less applicable for them. Overall, this doesn't diminish the value of the language but highlights how practical utility varies by everyone's different circumstances. The third object, I'm sorry, this is supposed to be my microphone. My third object is my tiramisu cake that I made. It looks like this. Yeah. I baked this cake for my sister's 14th birthday, and I spent 2 hours to make this. And then for this cake, I didn't really follow a recipe online, but I used my own past experiences and knowledge on baking to make this cake more personalized to their preferences. Bro, I was halfway.
I think it's fine. Just cut this part out.
You mean continue? But I don't know where I can.
You can do the whole thing. 看你要怎么讲话。
Continue, okay. Because of how, bro, where was I? Oh, I used my own personal past experiences and knowledge to make this so it's more personalized for their preferences. And I chose this object because of how I used my existing knowledge in baking to make tiramisu from scratch. Even though baking may not seem as essential as knowledge in fields like law or business, in this situation though, it proved to be useful. Like I didn't follow a recipe, but instead relied on my own prior experiences. These come from practice and intuition, which shows how some knowledge are more hands-on and harder to explain. This kind of knowledge is super useful when you need it, and it could make a cake more meaningful. I think this shows that the usefulness of knowledge depends a lot on the situation and the person, and not all knowledge is useful all the time, but that doesn't make it less valuable. Some might argue that academic or technical logic is more useful, but because it applies to a wider range of situations. However, this object shows that emotional and creative knowledge like baking can also be valuable in the right circumstances. This suggests that the usefulness of knowledge is not fixed or absolute, but depends on who is using it and for what purpose. Thank you. Say hi, Charlotte. 结束了。哦，还没。Hey, vote for me for best English A
Vote for mine.
exhibition of
I have my whole face
presentation.
over there.
No, not him.
And a toothbrush.
And this one sucks.